Good day, ladies and gentlemen personalities. Today we are going to speak about the exponential graphs. That is the graph in a form of y is equal to a times b to the power x plus p all plus q. So in exponential graphs, so there are two things that you should learn which are objectives. Objective number one, how do you plot an exponential graph? And then objective number two, if you've been given an exponential graph, you've been given an equation, so how do you find the missing constant, and then how do you then altogether find the equation when you are given a graph? All right, so we'll do exactly that. So let's start with the first one, plotting the exponential graph. Okay, so how do you plot an exponential graph? I've written some steps for you here so that you can see. So step number one, you must find the y-intercept by letting x be equal to 0. And then 2, you must find the x-intercept by letting y be equal to 0. And then 3, you must find the horizontal asymptote. And then 4, you must find the shape. And then number 5, you must draw. And I know some of you are very confused right now. And then you are saying, Mr. Makaba, what are you saying to us? Okay, let's just put this into an example. Here is an equation. Okay, you are supposed to draw the following graph, which is y is equal to 2 to the power x plus 1 minus 2. So we said the first step is to do what? Find the y-intercept. So what we're going to do here, we are going to say solution. Let me just put this here and then bring this thing closer to this side. So find the y-intercept. That is step number 1 by letting x be equal to 0. So how do we go about and do that? So solution, okay, let me use a different color so that it looks colorful. So you say for y-int is for intercept. What do? You must let x be equal to what? Be equal to 0, right? So you've got y, which is equal to this. So now you're going to say 2, and then in the place of x, what do you put? 0, and then plus 1 minus 8. Okay, so when you say 0 plus 1, that is 1. 2 to the power 1, that is 2. 2 minus 8, what is it? 2 minus 8 is minus 6. So y is equal to minus 6. So because y is equal to minus 6, therefore you have found the y-intercept. So you've got a point, and that point at x there is what? There is 0. So x is equal to 0, and then at y there is what? There is minus 6. And that is what? That is a point on the graph. So step number 1 done. So step number 2, find the x-intercept. And how to find x-intercept? You let y be equal to 0. So step number 2, for x int, what do? You let y be equal to 0. So when you let y is equal to 0, what happens? You have 0, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 2 to the power x plus 1 minus 8. Okay, and then you need to take this 8 to the other side of the equal side. So you end up with 8 is equal to 2 to the power x plus 1, which is same as what? Which is same as 2 to the power x plus 1 is equal to 8. So what did you do? You just swap things around. All right, so sorry, it's equal to 8. Yes. So now when you've got a power here, you know you must express this thing in terms of the base of 2. So what is 2? What is 8 expressed with base? That is 2. 8 is same as 2 to the power 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So 2 to the power 3 is what? Is 8. So in a place of 8, what do you put? You put 2 to the power 3. So you end up with 2x plus 1 is equal to 2 to the power 3. Now the bases are the same. So you drop the bases, and then you remain with what? With x plus 1 is equal to 3. You take this 1 to this side, and then x is equal to 3 minus 1 is 2. So the x-intercept is what? The x-intercept is now a point where x is 2 and then y is what? Y is 0. Okay, so you've got this point now, and then you've got this point. Okay, so number 2. Now, what is now find the horizontal asymptote. Now, how to find the horizontal asymptote? So basically, when you've got a graph like this one, where is this thing? Remember, the exponential graph is in this form, and then there is plus q. So this plus q is literally the what? Is literally the horizontal asymptote. So in this particular case, what is in the place of plus q is what? Is minus 8. So horizontal asymptote is y equal to what? Is equal to minus 8. Okay, wonderful. So you've got everything, and then so what do you then do? You then find a shape and then you draw. So how do you then find a shape? Okay, remember guys that if you have y which is equal to a to the power x, therefore you have a graph that is like this. It is in the shape, it is facing this side. Okay, can you see that? Yes. And then but now if you have a y which is minus a to the power x, so what happens then? Then you've got something that is like this. Can you see? This graph will get to be flipped like this. So you've got a graph that is like this, you see? So now in this particular case, you've got a graph which is standing like this one. Can you see that? So therefore your graph is going to be like this. And then also this part here is positive, so it's also going to stand like this, because if it was not positive, then it would have stood like, because if you have y which is equal to a to the power minus x, then it would have stood like this. Can you see? But now you have something exactly like this, so you will have a shape that looks like this, facing this side. So whatever graph that you're going to have here is going to be facing this side. So what you then do is then you plot. You've got the shape now, your shape is going to be something like this. But now remember, there is an x-intercept and a y-intercept, and then your graph has to pass through the x-intercept and the y-intercept, right? Okay. All right. So, okay. So what do we then do? How do we then continue? So now we need to draw. Okay. We've got y-intercept, and then we've got this one. So our graph is like this. Can you see that? And then you've got y here, and then you've got x here. Can you see that? And then remember, the y-intercept is where the graph cuts where? The y-axis. So the y-axis is somewhere here. So this is going to be minus 6. Can you see that? And then the horizontal asymptote is y is equal to minus 8. So minus 8, let's say it's somewhere here. Let's say here. And then so now where there is a horizontal asymptote, you must write a horizontal broken line. Okay. And then where does this graph cut the x-axis? At x is equal to 2. So 2 is somewhere here. So there is 2 here. And then what is the shape? The shape is like this. So you take this, can you see? You take this shape as it is, and then you take and put it here. So you will end up with something like this. Let me actually write with a different color so that everybody could see. So you will then end up with something like this one. Remember, this graph will approach this. Remember, what is an asymptote? An asymptote is a line that the graph approaches but never touches. So you've got minus 8 here. Can you see that? You've got minus 8. So here is your graph. This graph of yours is a graph of what? Let's label it is y is equal to 2 to the power x plus 1 minus minus 8. All right, so you have then drawn. Okay, so what did you do? You find the y-intercept, you find the x-intercept, you find the horizontal asymptote, you found the shape, and then what did you do? You drew. Okay, so when I mark for you, what am I going to look for? Okay, here is a graph, it's labeled. Here is the x-intercept, here is the y-intercept, here is an asymptote, and then the shape is nice as well in shape. Okay, so that is how I'm going to mark. All right. Okay, so that is basically how to plot what? An exponential graph. Do you guys understand? All right. Now, remember we had two objectives. The first objective was to plot what? Was to plot a graph. Let's say you're given an equation and then you need to plot a graph. Now, let us say you then given the exponential graph and then you are supposed to actually find the equation. So how do you go about doing that? So here's a graph. Study the diagram below. Okay, the diagram below shows the graph of y is equal to 2 to the power x plus p minus q. Okay, and then find what? Find p and q. That is number 1. Number 2, find the whole equation. So how do you then do that? Okay, so you need to find q. Remember, what is q? Q is the horizontal asymptote. Okay, here we can see the horizontal asymptote is what? Is minus 8. So it is minus 8. So actually so what you must do is that you must take this minus 8 as it is, and where do you need to put it? You must put it over there. Okay, so what do you then do? You then say, okay, you then say minus q is equal to what? Is equal to minus 8. And then obviously there's a negative here. You're not looking for minus q, you are looking for q. So you divide by minus 1 here, minus 1, and then by minus 1, and then this minus 1 cancels this negative, and then you remain with q, which is equal to what? Negative and negative is what? Minus 8 divided by minus 1, you get 8. So q is equal to 8. Right? So now you found what q is. Can you see that? Q is minus 8. That was 1. So now, how do you then, okay, what is the next thing? You need to find P. So how do you find P? Now, in order to find P, what you need to do is, remember, okay, number 2, in this equation you already have what? Because when you take this 8 that you've already found and then you put it here, you now have what? You now have y, which is equal to 2 to the power x plus p, can you see that? Minus this 8. Let's just say, can you see that? Right? So now, if you want p, what you need to do is you need to find any point as long as that point is in the graph. So when you look at this one, there is this 2 here, but this is an x-intercept. So the point here has x, that is 2, and then what is y here? At the x-intercept, the y is 0. Okay, so you need to substitute this into this equation. So how do you then do that? You then say, okay, in a place of y, you put 0 is equal to 2 to the power 2 plus p minus 8. Okay? Okay, from here you take this 8 to this side, so you end up with 8 is equal to 2 to the power 2 plus p. And as per rule, whenever, ladies and gentlemen, you have something that has a power, Therefore, the number that is here, you must also express it in terms of this base and some power. We don't care what that power will be. So in this particular case, if you want to express 8 as a base of 2, it's going to be what? It's going to be 2 to the power 3, which is equal to 2 to the power 2 plus p. Can you see that? Now the bases are the same. So what you do, you drop the exponent. So you're going to have 3 is equal to 2 plus p, and then when you take 2 to this side, it's going to be 3 minus 2. So basically p is going to be what? 3 minus 2 is 1. So p is equal to 1. So now you found the value of p. All right. Now number 2. So this was still number 1. It was still a part of number 1. Now number 2, what do they say? You must find the whole equation. Now you've got the value of q, you've got the value of p, and then you already have some parts of the equation. So then how do you then express this formula? The formula is nothing other than what? The formula is nothing other than y, which is equal to 2 to the power x. Where is p? P is 1. X plus 1, and then minus, what is q? Q is 8. Minus 8. Okay? So, when you have an equation, and then they want you to draw the graph, you can now be able to do so. But also when you have the graph, and then you are looking for the equations, you can also be able to do so. But now they made it so easy here. They just gave us the same as find p and then find q. Sometimes they separate these equations, but sometimes they won't say that. They will just say find the equation. Now when they say so and then just say find the equation, how do then go about and find those equations? I've combined together as steps again. Okay, I've combined steps so that you guys can be able to use. So in terms of this equation that we have, remember the graph is in this form, right? Okay, so what do we then do? So what you need to do is you just need to find the value of q, which is the horizontal asymptote. You must, guys, whenever you're doing an exponential graph, you must always find this one first. Okay, whenever you find this one first, and then the next one, find any point that is in the graph. Find any point that is in the graph, and then when you have found this already, in most cases this is always 1. So when you have found this, therefore you find, and then you find a point, you can substitute the x where it belongs and then the y where it belongs, and then you can solve, and then you can find the value of p. So step number 1, find q, the horizontal asymptote. Step number 2, find any point in the graph. And then when you found that point in the graph, then what should you do? Just substitute it in order to find p, and then what do you do? You then solve. Okay, and then when you found p, then put it in an equation, then you will be right. So that is how you find an equation if you've been given an exponential graph. Ladies and gentlemen, personalities, this is Mqondisi Macaba from Thembela Maths Club, a club that helps learners with mathematics. Guys, if you want to get hooked up with more of these kinds of videos, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and be part of that community. And then you can also click the notification button so that every time when you post a video, you will be notified. All right, ladies and gentlemen, personalities, thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you for your time, and have a lovely day, and goodbye.